Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. Before I start, let me tell you what's on my nails. This is Tonic Peacock Parade that was sent to me by Lisa Hendy, and I've worn this for like 3 days now, I think. So yeah, it reminded me of Lisa wearing this. So this is Peacock Parade. Beautiful, beautiful multi-chrome. It's purple, blue, there's some teal, green, like a reddish, goldish. There's every kind of shade in here. It's beautiful, and it really does have that peacock feather effect. So Lisa, thank you for sending that. It's glorious. I'm going to try and do this video without too much editing, so that I can get this up as soon as possible. I've started my job and I'm just getting into a routine where I just need to get some more sleep and get into a better routine. But what I've got today are some shimmery greens, some pale, mid-toned, and these are slightly darker here. So they're kind of similar in the bottle. I want to see if any of them are really similar on the nail. But before I do that, there's another one actually, there's 3 in this category. Before I do that, I want to have a look at this polish here that was sent to me by Jan Ray. And this is, I think it's a Miss Sporty. Yeah, Miss Sporty. There isn't a name on this, but it's 5033. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that you can get these in Superdrug. And Jan sent this saying that she thought it might be very similar to Pacific Blue, the original. And you know what, Jan? To the eye, these look identical. I mean, I'm really interested, fascinated to find out. So let's do a little impromptu Pacific Blue comparison. So this one here is the Miss Sporty. It's very opaque. Would still need 2 coats. Like for me, my Pacific Blue still requires 2 coats. I think the older ones, like the really old original ones, if you've had the bottle for quite a while, they thicken up and you can get them opaque in 1 coat. But let's have a look. It's very similar. So that's just on 1 coat. I did a slightly thicker coat, I think, with the original Pacific Blue. And they are very, very similar. I was going to say that the original Pacific Blue maybe had that touch more of a purple in it, but actually so does this one. So I'll let them dry. We'll come back and do a second coat. But Jan, I think you might have found a dead-on dupe there for Pacific Blue. And if that's the case, these are very affordable, the Miss Sporties. So yeah, let us know where you can pick these up from in the UK, Jan. I think it's Superdrug, but let us know. So let's have a look at the pale greens, the pale sort of shimmery greens. And these are the sort of shimmer that give that duochrome green gold effect rather than a glittery shimmer. So this one here is My Gecko Does Tricks. This one is H&M Orchid Bee. And this one is a Revlon Bonsai. I actually sent a bottle of this Revlon over to Catherine, and she really liked it. It's a great shade. And with that gold shimmer, it just gives it that little bit extra oomph. So it's going to need 2 coats. We'll come back with that one. Let's have a look at OPI My Gecko Does Tricks. I think this is slightly more metallic, whoops, rather than gold shimmer. But we'll see on the second coat. They look quite similar to me. I think there's slightly more gold in Bonsai and a little bit more of a metallic feel in the OPI. But let's have a look at the H&M. So this is Orchid Bee. And I think this is a slightly darker green. They may all be identical on a second coat, but definitely the H&M was the more opaque. Hopefully you can see that gold shimmer there. The OPI is a little bit brushstrokey, but we will see on a second coat. Let me get them in the right order. Okay, let's have a look at these two gold, blue, green, multi-chrome, shimmery greens. The base is definitely green. These two look really similar to me. I did have at one point about 6, 8 bottles of this exact type of colour and shade formula, but I've narrowed them down and it's just the two now, so it's like, do I need to keep them both? Let's have a look. So this one is the Ciate and it's called Oil Slick. So it's one of those duochromes that needs to be built up a little bit, or you could put that over a black as a topper, but it does need to be built up. And the H&M is called Green as Gold, and I've got a feeling that this is definitely more opaque. Oh, not really. They're actually really quite similar. You know, I used to think that all of this type of multi-chrome, duochrome finish needed to be built up in, like, you know, you couldn't get them opaque. They needed to be built up in like 2 to 3 coats. That was until I ran into the Oh So Shifty collection from Ada's Nails, which has some fabulous multi-chromes, one coaters, which are amazing. But we'll come back and do a second coat on these two, and we'll see if I maybe need to do another destash. I still think 2 is too much. So let's have a look at finally these murky greens. So murky, like khaki greens, ugly pretties, but with a very strong gold flash in them. This one is at your Quebec and Core. This was sent to me by Jules in Canada, so I'm definitely going to be keeping that one. This is Loyal Royal that was sent to me by Mrs. Cronall, and I love that one. And this is Last Queen of Egypt, which I picked up in one of my last H&M hauls, and again, I love it, but there's a theme here. So let's have a look. I've got a feeling that the OPI is quite sheer. Yeah, it's got a similar kind of consistency as these two here, but it's darker. So that definitely needs to be built up. And then we have Loyal Royal. Wow, so that is definitely more opaque. That is a huge difference considering they look very, very similar in the bottle. Wow. And then we have the Last Queen of Egypt from H&M. Now this is very, very slightly more of a kind of dirty brown green. So the shades are very slightly different there. But I'm going to do a second coat on everything, including the Pacific Blue and the dupe. It looks like a dupe to me. And we'll see what everything looks like on a second coat. This is 2 coats on everything, apart from at your Quebec and Call, which I've just put a third coat on. And it's still, yeah, it's still fairly sheer. Yeah, but I'm keeping it because of the name and because Jules sent it to me. Here are the Pacific Blues. This one here is the Miss Sporty, and this one is the original Pacific Blue. I think there is just a dash, like really just a tiny, tiny bit more purple in the original Pacific Blue, but they are very close. I think this is very close to Barrier, very, very close. So if you're in the UK and you're looking for a similar polish to the original Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, then definitely get yourself down to Superdrug. I'm sure I've seen them in Superdrug. And get yourself this 5033 Miss Sporty. Very, very close. Yeah, good eye you've got there, Jan. So if we move on to the kind of pea green gold shimmers, these Bonsai I'm keeping because it's a little bit darker and it's a great Revlon. I picked this up in a pound shop, so if you ever come across this and you like greens, I would definitely recommend this one. These two here I think are too similar to each other. This is my Gecko Does Tricks, and this one with a slightly better formula is the H&M Orchid Bee. I'm keeping Orchid Bee, and I'm actually going to Destash. I can't believe I'm saying this because I love this polish, but it's just too similar. My Gecko Does Tricks, I'm going to Destash. And then we have the two bluey green gold duochromes, and that's the Ciate and the H&M Green as Gold. And again, they look identical to me. And maybe some slight differences in them, but really on the nail they just look like green golds. I'm going to Destash the Ciate and keep the H&M. And then with the three darker kind of brownish khaki green gold shimmers, this one here is at your Quebec and Cole. I'm keeping this one just for the name because the formula actually isn't very opaque, but I love the name and it's from Jules. And these two are actually very similar to each other, and I love them both. This is hard. The Essence has a slightly darker, more of a brown tone shade. It is definitely darker. And there's slightly more of a kind of warm coppery feel to the H&M. But I'm going to keep them both. I'm going to keep them both. Maybe I'll look at this one again in the autumn, when I look at some of the autumn shades. But for now, I'm keeping them both. But I'm definitely going to Destash my Gecko Does Tricks and Oil Slick from Ciate. So they'll be in the shop later on. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you like these kind of duochrome green golds. They're my weakness, obviously. I love them. I've got so many of them. But I am trying to dwindle them down so that I've got a more manageable collection. But yeah, that's it for now, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!